there it goes. All right. From near this toe right here, I'm going to put a diagonal line that comes out right here, and then another one that comes out right here, just like that. And then I'm going to put one right halfway between them that's a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer, not a lot of bit, just a little bit. And then in between each one of these lines, I'm going to put another line that's the same length as this one here, and then I'm going to make one the same length as this one here. Okay, so we've divided into 4 sections. Then I'm going to come along here and put a nice curved line on the bottom of this one, a nice curved line on the bottom of that one. And then I'm going to bring another line that comes out this way and curves back up, and another one that curves back up. That one's a little different shape. That's just tell on the other side of the tree branch there. And then I'm going to come along here and I'm going to make a repeat line right here, and these all line up with each other. Okay, they should line up right here at the intersection. So it should be right here to there. It shouldn't go like right here and then have another one up here, one down there. It's just right there, right there, right there, right there. Okay? All right, now the tricky part. This is the part that I had talked about a little bit yesterday. We need to really work on our coloring a little bit. Okay, I showed on the board, still up there by the bear. In fact, he's looking right at the scribble. We want to get as far away from scribbling as we possibly can, and we want to try to keep things even. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start on this side of the head. I'm using the side of my pencil. I'm holding my pencil like this. I'm not holding my pencil like this, like I'm writing a letter to somebody. I'm holding it like this at the end. It's laying on the middle finger right there. That's what it's resting on. And then my forefinger and my thumb is what hangs onto it so I don't drop it. And then I can push down or lighten up. I can lift with this finger here. I can lift it up. Or these 2 fingers, I can push it down, and that determines how light or dark it'll be. If I push down, it'll be darker. If I push up with my middle finger, it'll be lighter. But what I'm trying to do is keep my lines totally close together. I'm following the contour of the shape. That means this line goes this way, therefore my coloring lines are going the same direction. Okay? So when I get around the eye, it's going to curve a little bit more. I'm starting really light to start with. Go around the eye. I got to get that phone call. Hello, it's Mr. Ems. I do. All right, thanks, bye. Liam, your mom's here to pick you up, so you should have to go. But this will be posted tonight, so just take your stuff with you and you can finish it up. Okay. All right, so now I want to come back in here. I'm going to refine this. I want this smooth and even. And what I'm going to do so you can see really clearly is if I do have any space like that, I'm coming in here and making it all smooth and even now. And it's really important that you go in the direction of your lines. Don't come in the opposite direction. Don't come in here this way to color something that goes that way. Now, yes, you can take a Kleenex later and go over and smoothen it, but we're not going to do that. And the reason we're not going to do that is we need to learn pencil control. And there's times where smoothing it out with a Kleenex makes a better texture for what we're trying to do, and then there's times where it doesn't make a better texture. So we got to learn how to have pencil control to start with. So we got that part done. Then I'm going to come right between his eyes and do the same thing. And this is why it's so nice to have a regular wooden pencil, because you're using the side of the graphite as opposed to a mechanical pencil, which right now would mostly be having the plastic part rub on your paper and actually scar your paper and cause all kinds of problems. That's why I really don't like those things for art. I like them for other things, but I don't like them for art. Okay, after you get between the eyes there, come over here to the other side and do just like we did. Those lines good and close together. And your goal when you finish what I've done so far is to have a very smooth color in and not have it look all rough and scribbly. And to do that, you have to kind of take your time and be careful. If you just hurry through it, yeah, you can scribble it and make a big mess, but if you're taking your time and you're careful, it should turn out all right. And for some of you, you haven't done much of that controlling it. It's just going to take time and practice to get better at it. Say if I get too far ahead of you or get moving too fast, you need to let me know, because I kind of get excited about finishing this because I want to see what it looks like. But I think it's looking pretty good so far. All right, does anybody need more time coloring the part that we've colored? Raise your hand if you need more time for that part. Okay, I'll give you just a second before I go on to the brow and the forehead here. But while I'm waiting, that little line that's coming across there, I'm going to erase that out. I don't want that line sticking out in my little feathers on top. Let's color his brow now again. Now it's going to change direction. On this side it was going this way, but now it goes this way, doesn't it? So we need to, when we do the shading here, again, we follow the direction of what our lines are doing. The outside lines are doing kind of helps determine which way we're going to color in. And learning to color like this is the first step in learning how to shade stuff in, which we'll do a little bit later in the year. Right now we're just trying to make it smooth and even so that when we do learn to shade, it will be a whole lot easier. Scribbling and shading don't really go together, but nice, even coloring and shading, they translate one to the other pretty easy, pretty well. I got that brow done. I'll come over here and do this brow. Notice that I turn my paper often. It's almost never straight up in front of me. I'm always turning it to make it the easiest direction to do my coloring or draw my lines. I'll give you a second to get that part done, then we'll do the forehead, and then we'll do the little feathers on top. Okay, for the forehead and where the feathers are, this is going to be a little different because I'm going to start off going this way. Kind of watch what I do before you start coloring. I'm going to start going that way, but then I'm going to keep turning my paper and folding it and changing the direction of my lines and having them come around so that when I get down here, I'm going that way and then bringing it back up. Do the same over here. Start this way and that way. That's just a little bit different what we've been doing. So by the time I get to the middle, it's almost pointing straight down. And then once I get to the middle, where it is almost pointing straight down, then I can come in here, go up and down, up and down, up and down, and then just blend my lines into the ones that I've already done. I'm also going to just carry this right on up into these feathers up here. Right now I'm going to do them in this lighter color, but we're going to change that in just a second. If you're keeping your lines really close together, it should come out smooth and even. If you're getting space between your lines, it's going to look rough. So my fingers represent the lines. If they're like that, you're good. If you get a little bit of separation like that between my fingers, you're going to end up having scribble on your paper. Okay? Okay, for this little tuft of feathers on top, I'm going to make these fairly dark. Again, I'm following the direction of the feather. Come over here and do this one. Now I'm just changing a little bit, putting a little point on that one, a little point on that one. Not too much, so just a little bit of a point, a little bit of a point. Just barely putting it on there just so it has somewhere to end. And that's good for that. I think I'll bring that up just to a little bit of a point there and bring it right back into that feather. It just looks better. Okay, I'm going to raise up a little bit because we're going to move around some. Now we're covering a big area, and this is where we got to be careful because we're covering a huge area. We're going to do all this in here, not this part in here. Leave this part white in here. So immediately I'll start going this direction. And I'm going to go slightly darker with this than I have the upper part of the head. So now I'm pressing just a little bit harder. See how there's a difference between this and that? Because it's a little bit darker. I'm not trying to go black with it. I'm just trying to go darker with it. And be careful as you go around the toes. And above the branch. This is going to look kind of cool, guys, when we get it done. I think you'll like the way it looks. This part, you just got to be slow and careful and try to avoid any scribbling. If you look up there, you see I'm following my lines. I'm not coloring this way across here. Whatever you do, don't go the opposite direction. Yes, you need to go get a drink. Go ahead. Just leave that door open so you can get back in. Yeah, I'll give you a second to get caught up there, because we're going to change the wings a little bit here. Let me see yours, Trexton. Let me see yours just for a second. Okay, got a little dark on top, so do just what you're doing. Keep the bottom lighter. You want them to contrast so they don't match up. But when you redraw it, make sure you keep the top lighter and the bottom darker. Okay. All right, back up at the board. When I start here and talking, that means you don't need the time. Look back up here. So we're going to come to the point of these feathers, and we're going to press a lot harder out here at the edge. And then as we move into the wing, a little bit lighter till it just blends right into what we've already done. See how there's not a hard line right there? It just kind of goes from dark to light. That's just by pressing harder and then lighter as you go this way. So that's what we're going to do right now. Harder down here, press hard, virtually try and get it go black. And then as I come up into the wing itself, I don't press as hard. A little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, so it just kind of blends right into what I did. But what I want is dark tips on the wings, on the ends of the feathers. And he's got dark little wings on the end. Looks good. That's what we want on both sides. Do one side, then I'll come over here and do the other side. Now when I go to do the other side, I'm going to turn my picture like this so that I can go this way and not have my hand rubbing on the drawing itself. Hello, this is Mr. Adams. Yes, I do. All right. Yeah, I'll let her know. Okay, we'll do. Thanks. Bye. Occasionally, your water bottle got turned in. You can get it after school. That's down in the office. Okay. All right. Now we want to come up and do this other wing. Hey guys, remember, it picks up all the sound. All right, that's kind of how it should look. You should have darker tips on the ends of the feathers. Blend that in just a little more right there. How many need more time on those wings? Raise your hand if you need any more time on it. All right. Okay, let's do the branch. The branch is going to be pretty darn dark. Tree branch, we're going to just go pretty dark with it. And I want it to contrast with the feet, which are light, and also with these feathers and these feathers. So that's why I'm going to go pretty dark on the branch. If I made them exactly the same color as the branch, everything would blend together. You wouldn't be able to tell where the bird starts and stops. It's really important to remember things like that when you're coloring, or shading, either one. See, if these little feathers right here went in front of that branch, you wouldn't be able to tell where this starts and stops and that starts and stops. That's why I have them separate from each other. Come in here, do this part of the branch. Trying to go fairly quick so it doesn't get too boring, but you should be coloring this all in at the same time anyway. Make sure it does not look like scribble, especially when you're going dark like this. Brexton, turn around. We're almost to the end of the color. We got just a little bit more to do. We're going to do the tail, and then we're going to do a little bit underneath the beak, and then we'll be about done with it. So with the tail, it's going to do this tail the same color as what I did the body, kind of that medium light gray. Keeping my lines really close together to the very edge. Now if you'll notice when I'm doing this, I can go right into the branch and it doesn't matter because it'll just blend right in with it if I've done it right. And if you look down here at the bottom, I got this kind of like a little scribbly edge down here going into this part. Well, that doesn't matter here because I'm going to make these black, so it will cover up that part that's extending down into it. This is probably the easiest part to color on the whole thing because the top end and the bottom end, you can kind of overlap and it doesn't matter. All you got to worry about is just keeping your lines close together. When you finish it, hopefully it looks pretty smooth and even like that for the most part. Go over just a little more. Then down here, I'm going to press really hard. Now this is, when I go black, I hold my pencil more like I'm writing a letter, okay? Instead of using it like this, when I want to go black, I hold it up like this because I want to get as dark as I can get. So I'm pressing pretty hard. And I want it to be as smooth and even as possible. Just like I've told you guys before, go around your outer edge, and then all you have to do is fill in the middle afterwards, just like that. It should be as dark as you can get it. So you should have a little black tip tail. The lines between these tail feathers, I'm just going to darken that a little bit so you can see them clear. I'll do that outer line too. So if yours started to disappear, just go over it again so they don't completely disappear. And the last thing I'm going to do on this before I get you guys drawn on your own, so I'm going to turn this sideways, and I'm going to come right underneath the beak right here. This is actually more like shading than coloring. I'm going to do a light gray, and then it gets really narrow as we come around the end of the beak right there. And I'm going to go around this end, just like that. Light gray, and then right below the tip, I'm going to put a little point right there that I'm going to go light gray with. When I turn this around, you'll see that we put a little shadow underneath his beak. Okay? That makes it look like the beak sticks out a little bit more than the rest. I'm also going to go just a little bit darker right here between the eyes, and then let that get lighter as I come down, because that's the brow right there. I want it just a little bit darker in here. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay, so when we're finished, we should have something that looks a little bit like that. Okay, similar. So what you need to do now is you need to evaluate this drawing. You need to self-critique it, grade it, basically. I'll leave this image up there. You grade your picture against this picture up here. Okay, what's off? What matches? You don't need to change. If something is not close, you need to change it. So that when you come over here and you draw that first oval right there, hopefully this drawing will be as good or better than this one. We want to try not to repeat the same mistakes we made on the first one. We want to try to improve with each drawing. So that's what you need to do over here, is go ahead and draw another one on this side. You do have the video if you need to follow it on your canvas. It's already posted. If you don't need the video and you can just draw from the picture that's up here, you're welcome to do that. I will have this picture posted on your canvas shortly, but that's where your focus needs to be right now.